Hey, what's going on, y'all? Just want to say welcome back to one of my videos. And if this is your first time watching one of my videos, I just want to ask you guys to go hit that subscribe button real quick and go ahead and hit that bell right beside it so that when I drop a video, you guys can get notified quick, fast, in a hurry, alright? So what I wanted to do today was talk you guys through the actual process of from walk-in to walk-through. And it's a three-part process, and because of that, I'm actually going to break each process down into its own video, okay? In a perfect world, what you would do, you're going to meet with the agent, you're going to sign the buyer agency agreement, you're going to search for a lender who will then get your pre-approval, which will help you work towards getting yourself secured a loan, okay? Now, when I'm going over with now, I normally like to do this with my clients before signing the buyer agency agreement, which I will go over in a later video immediately after this, okay? So once you've met with the agent and you've sat down and you've signed your buyer agency agreement and you're working with real estate agents brochure, I'm going to get you in contact with the loan officer if we haven't done so already. And what they will do, they will essentially let you know what it is that you can afford as far as buying a home, okay? So they're going to ask you for your credit report, they're going to ask you for your pay stub, and they're going to ask you some very general basic financial questions, okay? And this is imperative that we do this before we start looking for homes, because you may want a $400,000 or $500,000 or $600,000 home, but if you can only afford a $200,000 or $300,000 home, then I'm doing you a disservice by showing you those homes first, okay? So before we go look at any properties, you're gonna get that pre-approval first, all right? So you've signed your buyer agency agreement, you've talked to a loan officer, you've gotten your pre-approval, you know what you're going to buy, now we're going to go start looking for homes, okay? So after searching for a couple of days or a couple of weeks or a couple of months in some cases, you find a home that you like. You put in the offer and the offer gets accepted, okay? So once the offer gets accepted, congratulations, we are now under contract. Once we go under contract, we're going to enter into what we call the due diligence period. Now, depending on your specific situation, the due diligence period can be as short as 14 days. It can be as long as a month, depending on the lender, depending on the amount, depending on whether or not you're going to get financed or you're paying cash, will kind of dictate how long this due diligence process is, okay? I typically like to go 3 weeks. It gives my clients just enough time to get everything done what they need to do to the property, okay? Now also, the purpose of the due diligence period is to allow you to do what I call going go gadget onto the property. It allows you to go and do all your inspections, to do your appraisals, your survey if necessary, and anything else that may come up during the home buying process. I'll actually go a little bit more into that once we get to the next phase, okay? So we're under contract, but when you submit your offer, you're going to offer up 2 checks. One of them will be the due diligence check, and the other will be the earnest money deposit, okay? Your due diligence check is pretty much a check that will go directly to the seller that essentially says, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, thank you for taking your home off the market while I go inspect your home for my well-being, okay? They're going to take that check and they're going to go cash that check, and physically you're not going to see that check again, okay? You'll get credited the amount, but I'll talk about that in phase 3 of this process, okay? Your earnest money deposit is essentially a check that shows the seller how serious you are about buying a home, okay? That check will go most likely with the firm on the buyer side, and it's going to sit in their trust account for the entirety of the process. And then once you close on the property, that check will then go to the seller, and you personally will have that check credited back to you on the back end. And again, I will talk about that a little bit more in phase 3 once we go to close, okay? Okay, now, just to give you guys a little bit more information on this due diligence period, if anything comes up and you need to extend the due diligence period, one of the beautiful things about the home buying process, especially here in North Carolina, is pretty much everything is negotiable. So if you need to move that date back a couple of days to the left or to the right, as long as all parties involved are in agreement, you can do so. However, be aware that on the last day of the due diligence period at 5 o'clock, you're locked into that contract, okay? Now, During the due diligence period, you are allowed to walk away from the process completely scot-free. You don't even have to give me a reason. You just say, hey Vince, something's changed. I don't want the property anymore. I want to walk away. I'll type out the necessary paperwork. I'll send it to the seller. You get your earnest money deposit back, and then we'll go look for, at the next property, okay? However, once the due diligence period ends at 5 o'clock on the last day, which is 1700 for your military people, you are locked in. And technically speaking, you can still walk away, but if you walk away after the due diligence period is over, that earnest money deposit that is sitting in that trust account, that now goes to the seller. And that is how the state of North Carolina compensates the seller for their hardship, for lack of better words, okay? So that pretty much wraps it up for phase 1. Just want to say thanks for watching, and I'll be back next time with phases 2 and 3. All right? Thanks.